In this video, we're going to create fire from CC Particle World. So here's what we're looking at. There's a little fire. I noticed that the fire is going, and also that there's a little bit of light kind of blinking around here and this solid subject right there. So that's what we're going to be working on. Also, to show you another one that we can look at too is this one right here. And this one, I'm shooting the fireball. So we'll deconstruct that one. But the first things first, let's go ahead and talk about making fire. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a test file here. And the first thing I'm going to do is create a new shape, a new solid. So we'll do a new solid. And we'll call this fire. And we'll go ahead and apply the CC Particle World. Okay, there we go. We have it attached. Now we're just going to change some of the properties here. So first thing we'll do is we'll change the birth rate to 3. And we're going to want to go into the physics properties here. And we're going to change this to a fire instead of explosive. And we're going to set gravity, say, to 0.2, so just a little bit of gravity. And then velocity, not very much of that, or none. Let's just put 0 for now. And then we're going to go to particles. And we're going to change this from a line to lens bubble. Okay, now we can't really see it. Let me just turn off the background here. And now we're seeing the lens bubble here. We'll go ahead and drop this down a little bit. So we're going to move this down by going to the producer and changing the Y value to bring it down closer to the ground here. Okay. And now that we've got that, we've got kind of a black on transparency here of sort of the behavior of fire. And it's going to need a lot of work, so let's keep working with this. I'm going to minimize the particle world and look at adding some more filters. Let's go ahead and add a fast blur. So I'm just going to go over here to my effects. I know I'm looking for a fast blur. There it is. And then for fast blur properties, let's set the dimension here to vertical, and we'll set the blurriness to about 25. Now you can see it's starting to already look a little bit more like smoke there. Okay, the next thing we'll do is we'll add yet another effect, and we'll go to Turbulence Displace is what we want to offer, that we want to find here. So Turbulence Displace. It's under the distort. So we'll put that in. And you see that kind of adds a little bit more of a wavy, more of a fire-like look there. As far as things we change here, let's look at changing the size to 10. So not as much as what we were just seeing. There we go. And then the evolutions right here, how much it totally changes shape right here. We could just do a rotation of that, or we could add an expression here. So I could just type in 200, or we could alt-click here. And then let's add an expression down here that simply says time times 250, so 250 times it's going to keep changing here. So it's going to go through that 250 times, making changes, and that's looking good there. More and more like fire. Let's go and add another effect called Colorama. And here is Colorama. We'll add that. Now this is an interesting effect that is being applied to right now. So I have to look at input phase to see what it's being applied to the intensity. But really what we want to do is apply it to the alpha, because as you can see we're on a transparent background here, and that way any of the smoke and stuff like that was going to change. So we're going to basically use the matte. Let me just turn this off for a second. See how we've got the alpha here, and you can kind of see it a little bit through here and not so much there. So we're going to use the alpha to get the information from, and then what we're going to do is output no, we'll go down here to modify, excuse me, down to modify. Um, and we don't want to change these colors right here to modify the alpha. We want it just to do the other area here. Let me show you what I mean here. So I'm going to actually change this preset to fire. You see it's using the colors for fire right here in a gradient. You can change these, move these around, add them, or add more space between stuff. But right now it's coming really blocked out right here. So if I uncheck the modify alpha, it's applying it really to everything there except, not any place that has the checker box. So we've really got it applied to the fire there. Another one that I really like as well is the preset for fire and smoke, which I think is a really nice one as well. So fire and smoke is another option. It's got a little bit more black in there. Very similar. So either one of those. We'll go ahead and just stay with fire and smoke for the fun of it. These are all just, you could starting points. You're going to have to tweak it as you need. So there we go. We've got Colorama, and let's see what else we want to add. Let's go ahead and now add a little bit of a sharpening effect here. Oh, by the way, we can change this back now to see the black background. Okay. And we'll go ahead and now add a sharpening. So just sharpen is really what I want to do. And I'll drop that on and change that to about 20. And it's looking good. It's starting to look a lot like fire. We'll go ahead and apply glow. So I can go to here, but as you can see, I prefer to just type it in my effects that I'm looking for a glow, and dropping that on. And you see the difference. We've got a little bit more fire in the fire when we added that glow. And I'll set the radius here to about 100. And then the threshold, let's bring that up too. Actually, bringing that up kind of tightens it in there so that there we go less. So about 80, that's looking good. About 80 looks nice. Okay, again, you can tweak as you need. And let's take a look. I think we might have everything we want. And there we are. We have fire. And that's the fire with smoke, and looks pretty good. As you can, you can tweak this as you need, but get you started there. There it is at full speed. Okay. Yeah, and birth rate might be a little bit too fast. You could tweak that, but you get the idea. Now, just to quickly deconstruct some of those other areas, let's look at this one right here, which has the fire that I built earlier. This fire looks a little bit different. I didn't use fire and smoke. I just did fire here. But the things that are different is that there's a light added in here. So just going from top to bottom here, I got this ambient light set at 31%, so I kind of illuminate everything else, because if I didn't see this, if I set that to 0, then all we see is the spotlight. So I'm going to turn that up a little bit again to 30%, and now we see this ground. And by the way, what that is just a image. So if I click on here, this is just an image I took with my iPhone of the ground, and then I put it in a 3D space and rotated it, and now I've got the ground there. So we've got a camera in here just for viewing. We have a light on top. Notice it's right on top with the point of interest pointing right toward the fire, and the thing that we do here in the fire is under intensity, you'll see there's an expression called wiggle 10, 20. And what this means is that if you set that every 10 seconds, it will cause the intensity to change at a rate of 20. So every 10 seconds it's going to change at a rate of 20. And what this basically does is add a wiggle or a flicker kind of effect to the intensity. So it gets bright, then it goes back to not so bright, and that sort of stuff. Choosing colors and all that sort of stuff I set there. So that's why we were able to see the fire, and then I just ramped it up as far as its opacity coming in at first. So we get kind of a flicker effect with this fire. And we've got it on our background right here because we set the background to 3D. Okay, and then to take a look at this fire 2 over here, this one again, we'll see that. Kind of cool, this funky psychedelic guy right here throws fire. Alright, to deconstruct this, here's the raw movie file. Sure enough, it's just me out on, in front of the garage, and I figured what I would do is just set my iPhone on the trash can and use this silhouette to play with. So this is what I did. I just went ahead and made all different motions here, where if I was getting hit, you could do that. You could actually have a fight between two silhouettes there. And looking back at this, then what I did is, let's go into the raw movie file here, is added a mask. So here's the mask. And you can see that this mask was created just by using the pen tool. I went around where I was so I would hide everything else. And then just see me. Now, I didn't have any other effects set up here at the time. So let me just turn off these effects. And you can see the garage is right there. And I just changed this to where the mask would move when I would get too close to the mask, or make sure that you wouldn't see my arm. So that all I could get really was the shadow and then the background of the garage. And then the effects that I placed on here was first to extract, and we'll take a look at that. Okay, so here we are looking at the extract, and what this does is that basically I'm going to use the blacks and whites. So see, as I scrub right here, the white point, what I did is I started to say, all right, I want to work within this histogram, and I only really want to work with the black spots. And see how there's a lot of black here, and then there's not much, and there's a lot of white. That's the garage, and that's my shadow. So I basically just cut it out away like so that I could create just the silhouette of me without the background. And then I started applying effects to that. So a little bit of a cell pattern, and all of these. And let's take a look at those again. And so I started to apply these effects. So the first one, here's cell pattern. You can see we've got this kind of interesting pattern on there. And all of these were actually just created by picking a nice preset. And actually all of these were actually just created by simply adding a effect. I went to the cells effect, and when I applied this, it changed all of these other things right here, and then I just tweaked this as I needed to give me this funky guy. Then the last thing that I did here is in the fire, I just simply animated it starting and then moving over, and since I was having it move over, I had to have the light also travel at the same time. So I just animated the light to move over top of the flame the same way to give the effect like this fireball was also illuminating the ground. So that concludes working with fire, and you can see there's a ton of possibilities with particles and having fun, so have at it.